Hey, what's going on, Sean? Lee, how you doing? Just gonna put together a mutiny frame. Uh, these are coming out here very soon. What's up, Trevor? How you doing? All right, so we got the frame pieces here: the four arms, the top plate, bottom plate, the arm plate. This is what secures the arms beneath the top plate, and then our 8 standoffs and all the necessary hardware. When you get a mutiny, I should have already installed these tiny little, I don't know if you can see those or not, the press nuts into the bottom plate. So first thing I always do is look at the Gank logo, make sure that that's facing down, so when someone looks at the bottom of the quad, it's facing the right direction. I just kind of set this on here. I've got an old arm, spare arm that I use. This is an old race arm, but I just kind of tighten it against the bottom plate. So I put this on the bottom like this, so I'm not putting stress directly on the bottom plate, and it kind of evens the stress out as I'm pulling the press nut down. I do try to keep my press nut holes fairly tight. One for less arm slot, but two so they don't pop out. So just got to make sure they're centered and kind of wiggle them around a little bit when they get close. And then it's just a matter of tightening it down. And they'll go all the way flush just about with the bottom plate. Let's see if I can get that into focal length. All right. And then I just loosen the screw, press nut stays in. And I'll repeat that for the 4 center holes. The outside holes don't get press nuts. The outside holes are held in place. The screw, the outer arm screws are held in place by the standoff nut. So that makes for a easier arm swap. But in that way, I don't have to. These press nuts actually raise the standoff by about 2 millimeters. So I would have to either have longer standoff screws for the outer holes, or all right. Every now and again, I get one that doesn't want to sit. So that's going to be a pain in the ass. That's embarrassing. Usually it binds up like that if I've been using the screw for too long, so I probably should have started with a new screw in the first place. Get a new screw. And I'm using these stainless steel cap head screws. Let's see if I can adjust the focus here a little bit. There we go. So I'm using these little cap head screws just because it's a 2.5 millimeter head instead of a 2 millimeter head. And a little more torque. Don't have to worry about breaking my tube. So let's try this again. Right. Oh, that one's going to be a pain. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Start with a new bottom plate here. This is why I like to do it myself, because if I screw up, it's on me. And I'd rather have somebody that's buying one of my frames get something that's complete and works right. Let's try this again. I appreciate that, Trevor. Yeah, it happens. Like I said, I'm glad it happens to me and not to other people. That's kind of why I still do them myself. So the press nut should already be in when you get the frame. Oh yeah, that's nice. 2 in a row. What the hell? These are, damn it. I grabbed the wrong size inserts. Of course. Where is it? Third time's charm, right? Why is this screw so chewed already? I'm just getting a bad batch of fucking screws. Almost put it in the wrong side. All right, there's one. Really? These press nuts don't like me today. Arms on. Amazing how when I'm assembling them to package up, I don't ever have issues, and then as soon as I put it on a video, very lit. Kind of weird. I don't get to see if anybody's on. Here we go. All right. So once I get the inserts in, I'm just going to set this off to the side. I have 12 mil screws. The 12 mil screws go through the arm in the hole here, and they will go up to a standoff. That way. Alright, so I'll just kind of get that through the hole and loosely put on the standoff. Oops, shit. I'm doing this backwards. Okay. So the shorter 10 mil screws are going to go through the arm plate first, and I like to do the middle ones. And just kind of, as soon as they put them into the hole, and as soon as I feel them start to snug up, I'll stop screwing in. All right. Doesn't take but like 3/4 of a turn, maybe a turn. And what we have now is a little gap. All right. So our arms slide in. I've got this kind of notched design. So the arms will slide in straight. They have turned too many times. Into the slot. And they're going to be tight getting on there because I didn't leave a whole lot of gap in the screw holes on purpose. I'm just going to put that on there to kind of hold that screw for now. Oh. Lost my bottom. There we go. All right. Should have. I need to loosen that side up too. So the arms have to be almost perfectly straight to slide into the slot. And that's by design. It's there, but it's tight. When it's in all the way, you should see a very smooth line between the arms with very little separation. I'll show you here in a sec so get these screws tightened down. So what you should see when you're done is almost no gap here in the arm. Get the focal length right. And it should look very smooth across this here. It won't go in unless it's straight. But it's designed so that the arms don't move at all. So I haven't even fully tightened them down yet because I still got to put the other side in, but they're really rigid. And I also made the Bando arms wider than the standard arms. You can see here's a standard arm, so the width difference is kind of 3.5 mils, I think it is, or 3 mils. So, and it's still 5mm carbon, so it's going to be really durable, no matter how you fly it, where you want to fly it. So, go ahead and get these mid-length screws into the other side of the carbon. Just barely started. So I have the fidgety screw. So let's go ahead and slide this one in. Sorry, and I'm really bad at trying to keep what needs to be in frame in frame. Trying to learn. So this is Sean. This is a Freestyle frame. So it's a durable, just light little Freestyle frame. Should have plenty of room for building, and durability. Because for me, durability and ease of maintenance. Being able to replace parts quickly and in the field. I can replace an arm on this thing in under 5 minutes in the field. So it's really handy. And if you buy the whole kit that comes with the GoPro mount and the wire protectors and the SMA mount, I give an extra arm. So you have an arm in your possession when you get the frame, just in case you happen to like flying full speed into concrete, like some people I know. I'm speaking of myself, of course. That was one of my pet peeves about Freestyle frames is, one, they can be a pain in the butt to maintain, especially with a lot of the designers that put the stack screws or the arm screws through the stack screws. I'm not a huge fan of that because you have to disassemble the part of the stack or try to get to one of the nuts that's underneath the flight controller, something to that extent, right? So the way I designed mine, you can access, whether you're using a 20 by 20 or 30 by 30, which I have holes for both, you can access the screws. Yeah, I was talking about myself, Mike. Don't feel attacked. But hold on, let me get this. Sorry, I'm trying to concentrate and speak at the same time, and apparently my brain doesn't want to do both. That one here. All right. Yeah, Mike thinks I was talking about him, and I'll call him out on it because he was doing trying to do some inverted yaw spins over a very hard surface, and accidentally throttled while he was upside down, straight down into the concrete. He broke an arm, and he broke. Let's see, what else did you break, Mike? The whole bottom plate. But that'll happen on concrete. This is not wanting to do the screw thing for me. There we go. Got one screw, it's too short. Shit. Yeah, I did. Shit. Apparently, when I was cleaning my garage, I had shook up my screw bin and had a couple of screws that are not the size I thought they were. All right, that's tight. Get through there. standoff. So I'm a big fan of on these screws holding the standoff. I put knurled standoffs on it for a reason, because I'm a big fan of tightening these arm screws down very tightly, and my arthritic hands don't enjoy holding onto those. All right. Four. All right. The screws that I send with it are grade 8 steel. Don't be afraid to tighten them, but please don't use a ball end wrench, because the ball end wrench will chew up your screws every time. Make sure you've got a good straight hex driver. All right. So that's your bottom plate assembly. All right. So what I was talking about on the bottom was, as you can see, the 20 by 20 holes here. Now I left these at M2 because some stacks come with M2 and some stacks come with M3, and a lot of times it's easier to just grab a drill bit or a Dremel tool and Dremel it out to M3 than it is to build an adapter to drop it back down to M2 from M3. I may change this. I notice a lot of the boards coming out are M3 now. Hey, what's up, Dan? I noticed a lot of the boards coming out right now are M3, so I may go with M3 on these. A Crossfire Nano will fit in this slot. All right. It is the ideal spot to mount it. It's kind of out of the way. I put holes here, all right, that you can feed the wires through. And I also put, in case you want to strap it to the bottom plate, there's a little zip tie hole here. The front side here, these slots are for weight reduction. And then in the back, we have another spot for your VTX, right, or a spot for your VTX. So whether you want to use a Crossfire, or sorry, Unify or AKK Nano, I actually have I like the AKK FX3 20 by 20. So I've got 20 by 20 holes here mounted, so I can just strap it down into the frame. It works out really good. Can't do a 30 by 30 back here on the Mutiny just because it was intended to be small and light. The Mutiny HD will have space for a 30 by 30 or a 20 by 20 in the back. What's up, Justin? How you doing? So this is what your bottom plate should look like. Again, verify that your arm gaps here are really, really smooth. You shouldn't feel much of a change at all when you kind of drag across it. They go in really well, and they're really kind of don't want to move. All right. After that, it's just a matter of putting in these last couple standoffs. So short screws, obviously, on the 4 corners. If you buy the kit, will come with short, I believe they're M4 or M6 screws, or sorry, M3 by 4 or M3 by 6 screws. If you get the ready to fly, or so ready to rip kit, which includes the GoPro mount and the extra arm and the arm protectors and whatnot, I will send 4 10 millimeter length screws for the front to hold the GoPro mount down, so you guys don't have to dig up longer screws for your GoPro mounts. Makes it a little more confusing for me, but it's easier on you guys. So I don't sell that many frames that it's a big of a hassle right now. All right. So 2 more. one more standoff. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say I thought I lost a standoff there for a second. Why is it this camera seems like it keeps changing focus? There we go. Is that a little better? Hey, what's up, Brock? How you doing? Hey, Joaquin. Long time no see, man. I'm gonna get up to Dallas for one of these races here pretty soon. So, one other thing that I do put on the Bando frame that that is not on the regular frame is I use a 2.5 mil bottom plate instead of a 2 mil bottom plate. So the standard Mutiny will have a 2 mil bottom plate, which is plenty strong unless you're like Mike Berenson and want to face down into the ground. But so once we get all the standoffs in, oh shit. Okay, so once we get all the standoffs in, I just realized I grabbed one of the old bottom plates that doesn't have the slots for the camera mount. But I have the camera mounts here. All right, see they're shaped like a skull, like skull and crossbones. So the camera mounts slide into these little slots here, and the bottom plate that you're going to get, and the one I replaced to after I go end the video, is going to slide into these slots and then just clamp down in the assembly. All right. I do send, so I made these, the mounts. The cameras are 19 millimeters. I believe I made the mounts 20 or 21 millimeters apart. So I send a little round TPU spacer to go in between. One of the things I didn't like about carbon fiber camera mounts is a lot of the designers put them right to just to the width of the camera. Problem with putting them just to the width of the camera is carbon fiber is slippery. So you really got to torque down on those screws, and also if you do it that way, it tends to transfer all the force from impact directly to the camera. I'm sure some of you guys have probably experienced where your metal camera cases just like come apart. So the TPU kind of helps hold it against the carbon and keep it from rotating, but it also gives it a little bit of cushion. So the last spot or part is to put on the top plate and screw that down. So the top plate I designed, I'm trying to make it strong, but still wanted to be lightweight. And I wanted people to have options as far as how they mount your battery. My good friend Mike, he prefers to run the toilet tank battery. So I threw some toilet tank slots in there so he would be happy. Well, I like toilet tank occasionally too. Well, how the hell did I just lose screws? So like I said, hopefully you guys, when you guys get these, you won't have to fiddle with those press nuts. I'll already have them in there for you. All right, so there we have the Gank Multirotors Mutiny. You can see the slots on the top. Let me turn it around so you can see the name correctly. So if you're running if you want to run a long battery for long range, this will hold up to 1800 or 2000, I believe. 2200 I haven't tested. I do have slots here and here for your toilet tank mounts, and then right in the middle for who you guys, the guys that like to run single strap, or it'll actually, you can do double strap as well. Still missing one screw. So this is the standard kit, or sorry, the Bando kit, and this is just the frame only. All the components that come with it. Again, the Bando frame has much thicker, wider arms than the standard frame. So this is the lighter frame. This one's considerably lighter. Still got 5mm arms. They're just a little bit thinner here. When you get the Ready to Rip kit, it comes with the GoPro mount. It comes with the antenna mount, and it comes with the wire protectors. And I'm debating on issuing sets that come with the here's the wire protectors here. They're just little 3D printed pieces with notches for zip ties to cover your wires so the props don't damage them. Let's see. So, and that'll be the Ready to Rip kit. I'm trying to find my 3D prints for the ESC covers. Sorry, my son was just out here in the garage and helping me clean up. So, damn it. Here they are. So, I'm debating on trying to, so for the people who request them, I'm going to sell these, all right? So this is obviously it's an ESC cover, right? Cool thing about this one is it has notches here and here for the zip ties. You've got a little bit of aeration, and so this is my favorite part. So I'm always worried about putting these down, putting ESCs down directly on the carbon because I'm afraid I'm going to short them. So I designed these so they have a little 3D printed flap on the bottom. So when it prints, there's a 0.5 mil layer, or actually I think it's a 0.8mm layer where I don't print anything, and then I print this the thing directly on top of it. So when I clean out the supports in the middle, I pry this open. The cool part about that is one, you can get these on and off without wiring or unwiring your ESC. All right, they're a little bit wider than the arm, obviously, because this is for a wide ESC. I may do a slim ESC one because I know a lot of people are using the slim ESCs. But you just slide it underneath your ESC, strap it down to the arm, good to go. But anyway, so that's the Mutiny. The HD frame, Brock. I know you're freaking itching for one. And as soon as I get my quote out, I'll have the order going. Hey, what's up, Aaron? But so I added a little bit of length on the back for the Mutiny HD, and I added for underneath I added 30 by 30 or 20 by 20 screw mounts for VTX, and then also space for the DJI, obviously. And the camera plates are a little bit wider. Because the DJI camera is a little bit wider, so the plate mounts on the HD are a little bit further out than the ones on the standard Mutiny. With the standard Mutiny, I designed to fit. We've got a 25mm standoffs are standard. If you use the hard camera plate, you have to use the hard camera plate. You have to use 25mm standoffs. You can go to 20mm standoffs. I know people like the slammy slam lowrider stuff. And I will include some camera mounts for that. Show them to you. So this one here I'm putting together just for a demo build. I found a Helio Spring AIO. And everybody's talking a bunch of smack about the Emu. So I've got all the parts except for 32-bit ESCs, but I think I'm going to try that JESC software. But anyway, so for when you want to go slammed, I've got these tiny little 3D printed camera mounts that slip over the. I've actually got a smaller version than this as well. But this one allows you to slide the camera forward and backwards, which is very key, because if you have a micro eagle, if you don't have it slid all the way back, it may stick out. I don't want people damaging their cameras and whatnot. But I do have Thingiverse. I'll post up the smaller camera mounts as well. All of my 3D prints I'm posting up on Thingiverse. If you've got a 3D printer, you can easily just buy the base frame. Don't spend the extra. I think it's like $15 for the. I think it's $15. I have to look, but it's for the 3D prints and the spare arm. So trying to make it all kind of not very expensive for everybody, I guess. I mean, that was one of my biggest frustrations coming in was, one was lack of spare parts, and two was, lack of spare parts, and two was the cost of the frames. All the really good frames seem to hang out around $100 and stuff like that. I can't, for the life of me, dude. I designed these frames because I really wanted something for myself that was durable, that I wouldn't have as many issues with, and I learned Fusion 360 real quick, and for me it was just a matter of putting those skills to use. I built a couple of frames for myself, just one-off frames, and people really do like the designs. Local people started seeing them on my backpacks and seeing them on the table and stuff like that. The Nemesis kind of became just started from just me wanting to build something for myself, and I was just going to have Josh at Flyno just make me one, or two. Yeah, I really appreciate, I honestly, I wouldn't be trying to sell them if people didn't ask me to sell them. But I hope you guys enjoy them. Like I said, this one here, Mutiny Bando. Take it out, beat it around. I'll have the website up here shortly. I do have a limited number of these right now. I'm going to be placing another order here soon. The carbon fiber frame itself is waterproof rock. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Here's what the camera mount looks mounted in the frame. Obviously, this bottom plate is cut correctly. The one that I grabbed heat of the moment because I screwed up one on film did not. So this works for both the DJI cams and the run cams. So I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool. Yeah, we'll have to figure out some kind of floaties or something, right? Uh-oh. I'm getting Amber alerted here live on TV, or live on freaking Facebook. All right, guys. I think I'm going to end the video right here. I do want to get to building and put the Helio spring in. I almost want to do a live build, but I have another live thing to do tonight with Mr. Parkinson. All right, Dan Parkinson's got a new channel coming out where he's going to do interviews with just regular pilots that are doing their own thing. People like me who wanted to design our own thing. Not necessarily because I didn't design. Like I said, I didn't design it because I want to be famous or anything like that, and I'm really reluctant to sell. But hey man, you guys want them? I'm a friend of the community. I'll put them out there. I'll make a couple of dollars. I'm not going to freaking rob you guys blind, and hopefully you'll be happy with the way it looks and the way it flies. All right. Thanks you guys for joining. Really appreciate you stopping by. Peace out.